So I'm going to read you two tweets from the Twitter account of Paco Valcarel, who is the president of the World Boxing Organization, the WBO. Paco Valcarel tweeted out 28 minutes ago, "As of today, it seems there will be no WBO heavyweight world title fight in New Zealand." And he tagged in Dan Raphael and Boxing Scene. 13 minutes after that tweet, he tweeted out, "It seems the problem lies within Team Fury." And again tweeted in Dan Raphael, Boxing Scene and Fight News. Very, very, very disappointing, frustrating and pretty aggravating news. Although, if we're honest, possibly not entirely unexpected. This fight, there's been an instinct that it may not happen from the very beginning. It started with the failed purse bid, where somewhat unexpectedly, Team Parker and Duco Events won the purse bid. There was then the visa issue with Peter Fury, although he, as we know, was given special dispensation to now enter New Zealand. Initially, we heard that Team Fury would like to get out to New Zealand 5 or 6 weeks in advance, but clearly that hasn't happened. We've seen interviews with the Furies very much still in the UK, far beyond that 5 or 6 weeks before the fight. There's the performance-enhancing drug allegations that still linger in the background, and really that most boxing fans, including myself, are kind of a bit unclear and uncertain as to what's actually going on with that. It's all very, very, very bizarre. Very bizarre. But right here and now, with the president of the WBO tweeting out what he's just tweeted, it seems extremely unlikely that Hughie and Parker are going to be clashing May 6th, as was initially forecast. Now, if we look into the reading of Paco Valcarel's tweet, he says, "As of today, it seems there will be no WBO heavyweight title fight in New Zealand." Now, I'm clutching at straws here, but hypothetically, there could be a WBO heavyweight title fight in the UK. Now, I don't think that's at all possible, given that we are, less than 2 weeks from fight night. I don't know if they'd have to delay the date. But he hasn't tweeted out that there's no fight. He hasn't tweeted out that there's no fight. But this is very, very bad news. And as of this moment, you'd have to say that the fight is definitely more off than on. And it's just, I got the instinct, ever since Paco Valcarel took to Twitter several weeks ago and said that the Furies had 1 day deadline to sign a contract, because they hadn't signed a contract yet. Ever since that moment, you kind of got the impression that this fight may not happen, because why on earth would the Furies delay in signing this contract? It's a big money fight. It's a great opportunity for them. It's for the World Heavyweight Championship. So the fact that there was some reluctance there put doubt in my mind. And I don't know what that doubt is. I don't know if it's Hughie Fury's health problems. I don't know if it's the performance-enhancing drug situation. I don't know what it is, but it's very, very odd behaviour. And, this is going to do, in my opinion, irreparable damage to the reputation of the Furies and to Hughie Fury. And this is coming from me as a fan of Hughie Fury from before he even made his professional debut. But this is very, very hard to explain. Now, Peter Fury did tweet out 2 or 3 days ago that he was going to do an interview with Kugan Cassius to explain the antics surrounding the Joseph Parker fight. So one would presume that there's another side to this story and that Peter Fury has some explanation and some reasons as to why he is not happy with these circumstances. He said that interview would be up tomorrow, 2 or 3 days ago, and that hasn't surfaced yet. So who knows what the situation is. But right now, it's very, very disappointing news. And, Hughie Fury has now been offered fights by Anthony Joshua. He'd been offered fights by Deontay Wilder. He signed to fight Joseph Parker. He was mandated at one point to fight Dillian Whyte. And it looks like none of these fights have occurred. A dangerous trend. Dangerous and disappointing and frustrating trend. And I must admit, I know Joseph Parker's a very, very good fighter, but you'd have to think from Hughie Fury's perspective, this was one of the more winnable chances for him to, potentially take a WBO, to take a world title. Joseph Parker's very good, but he's perhaps shown weaknesses when he stepped up in levels. And, a guy like Hughie Fury, you'd think would have a sort of winning there. So it's very frustrating. We await further news. I'm sure there'll be arguments from the other side, which we will listen to with interest. But as a huge Fury fan, very disappointing. And Hughie Fury, aged only 23, has now become an inactive fighter. And has now become a fighter who has missed out on more big fights than has actually stepped up and taken those big fights. Let me know your reaction, guys. Leave your comments in the section below. If I've broken this news tube, please take the time to hit the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, you haven't done so before, do subscribe. Many thanks for tuning in.